Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi Alex, how are you?
Very good. A few technical difficulties. Are we up and running and live?
It's perfect. You can hear you clearly. Can I
Excellent.
ask, my first question is just how wonky are we talking? How wonky is that fruit?
It's very, very wonky today. It's looking pretty wonky and pretty surplus, which is great. It's just how we like it.
Well, it's extremely kind of you to be on the show. Just for some context, there's lots and lots of children, teenagers, adults, all listening in, hoping to learn some cool stuff from a very interesting story. Can I take you back before Dash Water and ask you about your education? You went to Radley. Was that a good environment for someone like yourself who wanted to start a business?
Yeah, I think firstly, thanks very much for having me on, and it's great to see. I'm just looking behind you, and you've got a few dash cans there, which is excellent. You're on brand, ready and set. So thanks very much, and pleasure to meet everyone who's online. Radley was a fantastic environment for me. Radley, I think it's a very good all-round school. So they are fantastic at bringing everyone to a very good level of both academically, in the sports, in the arts as well. It isn't particularly weighted to either of those three departments. I think they're a very good all-rounder, particularly for business environment. I think it's a great place. I think it's a really good environment in order to learn. They did lots of extracurricular activities to learn about business itself. And although economics, which I studied at Radley, is a great theoretical side to learn about the economy and business, what you do, and you guys know better than anybody else, the actual nuts and bolts of building a business is very different to reading some economics books. And so a lot of the practical stuff that they did outside of those economics classes were very good.
Can I ask you about the moment you realized you had a problem to solve with Dash? Was there like a light bulb, or was it something that evolved over time? How did that kind of come about as a business idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I don't think there was a particular light bulb moment for Jack and I. Jack, who I co-founded Dash Water with, it was mainly a coming together of two problems that we had. So where I currently am, down in West Sussex, looking out the window, and there are fields with cows and sheep and things like that. And Jack also grew up on a farm too. And we saw firsthand that there was a huge amount of food that would go to waste, not just on our farms, but across the Western world. And so we wanted to do something about that, and to repurpose this fruit and veg into something else. We didn't quite know what at the time. We met while we were working in the food and beverage industry, and the previous drinks company that we were working at, they had 25 grams of sugar in the drinks that they were selling. We kept on saying, guys, you need to stop putting so much sugar in. And so we wanted to create a delicious drink that didn't have any of the bad stuff, that could infuse some of this surplus wonky fruit and veg that would otherwise go to waste. So it was more of a gradual process of just putting all these different layers together that brought us to the idea of creating Dash, rather than it being a particular light bulb moment.
Where reading the questions coming in, where did the name come from?
Water with a dash of flavor is where the name came from. So descriptive, but also we like it as it's quite a crisp, contemporary word. It's quite British. It's also a bit of a double entendre, as the way that people buy Dash is usually healthy hydration on the move, so on the dash.
Yeah, nice.
Can I ask, what's been the biggest issue that you've tried to overcome, or successfully or without success?
We messed around for it must have been about 9 months before the launch of Dash, trying to create the drinks ourselves. And we spent many days lugging water from near Wales to London, where we had found this very small manufacturer, getting a bespoke canning line brought to this manufacturer that we wanted to first make it. And we had a very producer ourselves. And it was when we first met our flavorologist, who we partner with at the moment. He's a fantastically experienced guy, knows how to make drinks in his sleep, and he taught us what we had been trying to teach ourselves during a 9-month period in 2 hours. So this is a nice example of if you find the right teacher who is experienced and knows his stuff, they can teach you stuff very quickly, instead of you trying to do it yourself for 9 months. So that was a bit of a, sorry, doing it on my phone at the moment because my computer's crashing. But that was a really tricky period where we just couldn't work out how we were going to make these drinks in a way that we could manufacture it on a large scale. And it was really by finding the right partner, this fantastic flavorologist, that we really were able to get going.
I'd love to be a flavorologist. I just think that sounds like the sweetest job ever.
Yeah. You put out a great April Fool's for anyone who follows Dash on Instagram, that you were going to release a pea flavor Dash water. That obviously was a hoax. You've just released a very good peach flavor. Which is your favorite?
Peach is my new favorite. So cucumber has always been the one for me, but peach has now picked that top spot. I'm not quite sure if it's just because it's a new flavor, and it's something different to the usual 3 or 4 that I consume every day. But yeah, the pea flavor April Fool's went down quite well. It was it was quite amusing. A guy, when we launched this pea video, there were lots of people commenting saying, "Pea, it sounds interesting. Really excited to give it a try." And there was one guy in particular who was commenting like mad, just saying, "I'm really, really keen to try it." And when we said 2 days later, "Guys, I'm sorry that the pea video and the pea flavor was an April Fool's and we're launching a peach," this particular chap who was very, very keen on the pea flavor said, "Guys, the April Fool's is on you. Everyone was very excited for a pea flavor, and now you haven't delivered it."
Well, me too. I mean, me too. I would say this face to face rather than in front of lots of people. I'm an enormous fan of the business, and just looking at you from an outsider, you have an absolute razor focus on the marketing of your company. It's, I think, an amazing product that you are selling, and the simplicity is something I envy. With Oppidan, we you know, there's lots of different things going on. You have an absolute razor focus, but there's obviously lots of different things that makes up the success of your business: the logistics, the operations, getting people to bloody buy the stuff. What is the hardest part of your business that you do?
I think the hardest part at the moment is during lockdown, which we're doing a very good job at, is making sure everyone in the team, and we're a small team of 9, is able to pull in the same way and to be able to make sure that we are able to communicate really freely. We are still able to capture that when we're in the office, having that water cooler gossip and be able to exchange information very freely. So that's quite tricky at the moment, but the team are doing an outstanding job. We have a call at the beginning of the day and at the end of every day. I've literally just come off my 5 p.m. call where everyone updates what they've been up to, which is great. They were very excited for me saying that I was going to be doing a biscuit challenge, and had the delivery of a couple of hobnobs arrive during it. Otherwise, for a fast-growing business like us, the general problem is making sure that we're able to fund our growth, so working capital. So making sure that we've got enough cash in the bank. Dash is now in about 5,000 stores across the UK and Europe, and we've recently launched in New York in America. So making sure that we've got enough cash that can fund the production of the cans is really important for us. So making sure that cash flow cycle's really efficient. So that we're able, this year we'll sell about 4 million cans. So making sure that we're able to have all the correct amount of cash to be able to produce those is key.
Very good.
On our summer camps, we play a game called Dragon's Den, and young children, students, whatever, are asked to present their own business. And there's lots of people who have ideas. We're going to ask you, Alex, at the end to judge the best. But I wanted for you to, as an entrepreneur, to explain to those listening, when you have an account, you're selling to Holland and Barrett. You're selling to Tesco. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Yes, exactly.
So account management means, what happens if you sell lots to Tesco and then nobody buys from Tesco? What happens then?
Tesco will take us off the shelves. So how it works is when we list with a retailer, we will have a joint business plan together, and we will want to hit a target of selling X amount of cans in every store per week. So we would want to try and hit about 15 cans sold per flavor per store per week. And if we don't hit that, then we will be taken off the shelves and another product will be put on. Fortunately, we haven't had that issue yet, but that is what happens.
With that high pressure situation in mind, I thought we'd try a little test. We sometimes launch polls on our channel to see what the audience think out there. So if you see something on your screen, Alex, you can ignore it. But for everyone else, we've got a little poll here, and we want to see what you think too. Which three of these do you think are the most important ingredients in becoming a successful entrepreneur? Resilience, ambition, talent, luck, leadership, or confidence? Obviously, they are all important things. But I wonder, in your experience, which have you found the one or two that have been really like the maker for you?
I think that it's a combination of all of those. However, if you were going to force me to not sit on the fence, I will pick resilience. I think that one thing that I've had to learn is to make sure that there are a lot of highs and lows that one has, and to try and make sure that instead of having peaks and troughs, to try and flatline it, and to not get too excited when things are going really well and not get too low when things are going through a bit of a tricky patch. And so I think you've got to develop pretty thick skin, and you've got to be pretty resilient to the things that are going to come your way.
Well, that's proven popular, because if I share our results here, we've got 62% leading the way with resilience, closely followed by confidence, leadership, and ambition, which I think is a pretty good one. It's interesting that a lot of people say talent and luck, least important out there. Walter, what do you make of that?
Yeah, resilience is a word bandied around. I think that's absolutely bang on. I think being in the right place at the right time helps. I think Alex, you'll agree, but having a co-founder, I think starting a business on your own is a bit like starting a business in a vacuum, and having someone that you can bounce ideas off is important, isn't it?
Absolutely. It is fundamental. I think it means that you are able to share the highs and lows. You're not in that vacuum, as you say, and you're able to, as a partnership, work your way out of some pretty tricky situations that arise.
Totally agree. And on the confidence factor, do you think it's fake it to make it? Is that a true slogan?
I think you have to have good confidence, or you have to portray, as you say, you have good confidence. I think that's especially important when you start to run a team. If you want other people to pull in the same direction as you, you've got to put a bit of a brave face, and for other people to think, yes, this guy is, he may be a little bit mad, but he's someone that is a bit of fun and is worth following.
Well, I think that reflects a nice little conclusion from our poll then, which is resilient, followed by the confidence to make it happen, followed by the leadership skills to pull those along with you. It reminds me of the Michael Jordan Netflix series at the moment, which I would highly recommend for anyone out there who needs some television.
Alex,
Quick comment in the chat here too. We've got Aaron who says, just checking out your website. Love the look of those cans. 4 million on one in sale. I'm going to get myself some.
Good man. Love it.
Lots of positive comments coming in. Lanty and Nikki say, Alex, can you make a rhubarb and ginger flavor? Is that on the horizons?
That is interesting that is banded around. It is an absolutely spectacular combination, and certainly something that we would love to produce one day.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to ask you one serious question, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick fire series of questions from the crowd and then play a quick game of Biscuit Face. So if those at home haven't got one, do go and get yours. For this slightly older people amongst the crowd, they will be interested in a term I think bandied around too much too quickly, is an exit strategy, which for those listening who don't understand mean a way to sell your business to someone else.
And to get paid for it, essentially.
And to get paid for it. So my question is that the aim? Are you is selling something which you think about, or are you just in it for the long run?
Personally, I think it's very, very narrow-sighted to just set up a business with the fundamental aim just to sell it. I think it's a pretty transparent thing, and consumers or stakeholders would see through that pretty quickly and think that you're taking short-term decisions that might jeopardize the long-term sustainability of a business. And for us, it's 100% not what we started the business for. Ours is pretty simple. We grew up on a farm. We saw there's lots of food that goes to waste. We used to work in the soft drinks industry, saw that there's lots of sugar and sweetener that goes into soft drinks. So we wanted to make a healthy drink that doesn't have sugar or sweetener and uses wonky fruit that would otherwise go to waste. So our aim as a business is to keep on delivering a healthy alternative to the rubbish that's out there, and to use the fruit and veg that would otherwise go to waste. It's our third birthday tomorrow. Bit of a big moment, and I was reflecting earlier on some things that we've achieved, and one of those is to date is saving over 500 tons of fruit and veg that would otherwise go to waste. So that's a really key and core thing that we want to do. And just to end it, we want Dash to be passed down from generation to generation and be a household name. And although we've got a bit of a way to go for that, that is our long-term aspiration.
Well, as a friend of mine said to me the other day, Dashwater is on its way to being the fever tree of wonky fruit. Anyway,
I think we've got time for a couple of quick. If we intersect also with some quick fire questions, I've got a couple too.
Yes. Kombucha, is it a fad or is it in for the long run?
I think it's in for the long run. If it's made properly, it is delicious stuff.
Favorite drink that's not Dash?
Can it be alcoholic?
Let's give you one of each.
Okay.
Because kids can't see you on the alcohol.
That's kind. So I was actually drinking a kombucha today. So I'll make it simple and go for that. It's called Jar Kombucha. They've recently launched a new canned range. And alcoholic beverage. My current favorite tipple at the end of the day is a tequila and tonic. So that's really what's keeping me going through lockdown.
Perfect. And Alex, last question, I promise. It's from Leo, who's aged 9, and he says, what's been the best moment at Dash?
Hey, Leo. That is a good question. The best moment at Dash. We're going through a good one tomorrow where I've just sent a bottle of champagne to everyone in lockdown and to celebrate our 3rd birthday, which will be absolutely brilliant. I think the best moment was also one of the scariest moments, where we had to produce, because of the minimum order quantities with our cans. Our first run was 200,000 cans, and we looked up and at the stacks and stacks of cans, and we thought, we've got to sell these before they go off in 18 months. So it was a hair-raising moment, but also a very exciting moment that we had done it. We had made Dash for the first time.
Very cool. Right. A quick game of Biscuit Face to finish. The idea being, of course, when you're university kids and you're talking to your neighbor, you can say, I beat Alex Wright, that famous drinks entrepreneur, at a game of Biscuit Face. So Henry has gone to the fridge. He's back. He's got his...
I'm bearing it up today. I've gone from the Oreos to the jammy Dodgers.
Okay. So we had Dean Thomas from Harry Potter on the show on Monday.
Alex, this is you. You're waiting to get on the board up here. See, so we've had a lot of people. We've got quite a lot of failure on that board. You've got 30 seconds to get a biscuit from your forehead to your mouth. You can try as many times as you want. My advice is avoid speed at the top. Speed at the top is dangerous.
Okay. Guys, I've got a hobnob, by the way. So I've kept it pretty plain and simple. No chocolate, because I know that causes a bit of traction when you're trying to slide it down.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how you handle the tash. The facial hair is tricky.
Right, Alex, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it's good, Techers. It's really good. Oh, it's so smart. Oh, we have a record. 5 seconds. Alex Wright. He's good at Dash. He's even better.
You've taken us off the top spot.
5.6 seconds. Are we going to?
And that was with no practice. I'm sure you guys had a lot before you got on that board with those quick times. I'd just like to, by the way, you guys asked me a question earlier. What was the most proud moment, or moment that I was most excited? Leo, I think you asked. I think that is my most proud moment of Dash, is getting the record top of the leaderboard with the hobnob as well.
You're between 2 stars of Netflix, Alfie Enoch and Louis Hines, both Netflix award-winning actors. And there you are. Alfie couldn't do it. You're 5.5 seconds. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away.
Alex, you're a great sport for coming on the show. Thank you for giving up some of your time. Have a lovely evening and happy birthday for tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. Catch up soon. Thanks for having me on. Bye-bye.
Bye.